Hello, welcome to our TED Talk class. Today we will speak about Elon Musk, and we have a short 20 minutes talk with Elon Musk on some TED conference or something like this. I don't know. It's not actually a show or a talk. It's just an interview. But before we start to speak about Elon Musk, we have to teach a few adjectives, right? Like majesty or something like this. Usually, what should be appropriate, appropriate adjective to such a icon?
I would just call him an entrepreneur.
That's noun, not an adjective.
He's able to take an idea and make it become reality. And so if you want to call him a visionary, that would be appropriate.
Yeah, but I wasn't really serious. But, when we discussed Elon Musk or other very famous persons, like, for instance, Steve Jobs or something like this, there are usually two different points of view. Yes, one people are huge fans of them, and other people are skeptical about this. And to emphasize this, we use some special language, like we address to king, like Your Majesty or something like this. Can you teach me a few such, Sir Musk? Yeah, what would you say to Cardinal, to Papa or to something like this?
The British would knight him or would grant him knighthood, so we'd call him Sir Musk.
Yeah.
Okay. But what about Papa?
Your Highness. Your Highness, probably.
Your Highness,
yes. Or your prominence, something like that.
Yeah.
Prominence. Okay, good. And we need all that, when we're speaking about Sir Musk, we need all that. So let's, Your Highness, Your Majesty, right? What else?
Yeah.
Your Majesty.
What we used to...
Pope is called Your Prominence, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. So I know that in our small group, in our chat, we have a strong proponents of the Elon Musk, and I can call them like a crowd of his church. What's the name for this? A flock of his church.
His followers, you mean, or his employees?
His followers, those who think that he's, a new messiah.
Fans, his idols. Usually, if they're fanatical, we call them idols.
Yes.
They idolize him, so I guess he's their idol.
Yeah. So if you belong to Musk's church, you are a fan or who? Proponent?
Follower?
What else?
Aficionado.
Nice one. And I'm not sure is it an English word, but what about zealot? Is it English?
Zealot, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, and we need all that, we need all that. It's not an interruption. We need all that because it's really a big person, and it's divided society. And we have a church of Musk now in engineers, what to say, engineers circles. What's the name for that? I don't know. Society.
Circles, society.
Iconic feature. Okay, so we're ready to speak about him. We have some adjectives. We're ready. So speaking about His Majesty, what projects do you know? What projects he made? He invited. He started. Gerard, what is your favorite one?
PayPal.
Okay. He started PayPal when he was young, right? And it was very innovative money transferring system because all these banks are very traditional, right? What another adjective for that? They don't like to be develop new features.
Conservative,
right?
Or complacent, yeah.
Complacent. So all these banks are very conservative, complacent. They don't like to provide us new service. Why? We pay without that. So Elon Musk, what kind of problem PayPal solve, Gerard, from your perspective?
Well, it's an intermediary between the bank and the customer, and I think the main feature is very fast, and it also has a sort of insurance. So if the thing you bought is not good, you can ask for your money back. So that's very, very good.
Right. Do you use PayPal now?
Yes. So I prefer. It looks safer than credit cards. I don't know if I'm wrong, but it looks safer. I don't know.
Chile, and you use PayPal too, right?
It's very easy to use. I just say pay by PayPal. I log in. I'm done. I don't have to know any bank account numbers or bank routing numbers. It's just very simple, almost transparent to me. So I love it. Yeah.
I see. Diana, what about you? Do you like PayPal? Do you use it?
Well, I use PayPal, but according to our laws, Ukrainian laws, they still do not let PayPal here. Can I say like full range of PayPal here? So actually, I can buy stuff using PayPal. I use it, so it transfers money from my bank account via PayPal, right, easily. But I cannot receive any money through PayPal to my bank account. So they don't let. So they let me get my money out, but not in, which is not fair. I don't like it.
Not clever. Clever.
But it's not about PayPal, it's about local government regulations.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. That's what I said. It's local authorities which do not let PayPal work here properly.
But to make you feel better, the same in Russia, not exactly the same, but we have.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, but
it's not the same.
It's not. I mean that we have some limited service too. We have to provide. Yeah, in different way, but it's limited. So it's another point that PayPal has a big respect to local authorities, to local, rules, regulations, and so on. So if you live in America, if you live in dollar zones, it's not a problem for you at all. It just works because it's allowed. If you try to make abroad transactions, it's became a little bit complicated. You have to find a way to satisfy both, jurisdictions. Is it the word for that? Yeah. So sometimes it's complicated, and when PayPal cannot find a compromise between two jurisdictions, it's just prohibited. So like that. But you know that. Elon Musk, His Majesty, sold his project, PayPal, very, very fast. And for now, PayPal is going down for a long time. Why? Because it was a, can I say, niche or something like this, blank niche from bank services. It was not filled by other entrepreneurs, right? But now it's filled. Now you can. I don't know. I can speak about other countries, but for instance, in Russia, you can transfer money by your messenger, by your phone number, something like this. You don't need these credit cards. So banks are now up to date. So we don't have PayPal because of that. And that's why PayPal going down, and it's a good thing that Elon Musk sold him. Okay, it's. Well, but His Majesty found this niche, right? In no time when he was a student, and immediately. So and he got good money from that. I forgot exact number, but it's something like 2 billion or something like this. It's good money for a student, especially. So what came next, or what is your next favorite product of Elon Musk?
The Tesla.
Tesla, yes, nice one. So, what is Tesla? Yeah, do you know?
It's an electric car. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
So, okay, it's an electric car, very expensive one, I would say. Yeah. So, not many people can afford it now, even now, right? So I don't know if it is like the cheaper version. coming up, but it isn't expensive. I think it is expensive even for, according to American standards. Is that right, Teacher Lee?
Yes, yeah, and he discussed that in the TED Talk. When you first develop new technology, it's going to be a small distribution, very expensive for the people with money, so they can kind of beta test it and give you some feedback. And they've got the money to take the risk to buy one and see if it's cool or not. And then the second phase is you lower the price a little bit and you spread it out to more people. And he says that's where we are now. So he's envisioning about a $50,000 car with a wider distribution. Phase 3, he's looking at about a $30,000 car across the country. But we're not there yet. The technology's got to be cheaper. The mass production's got to be more efficient.
Yes, but Tesla is it's a good example. It's not easy to understand where is the business with these Tesla cars, because many car producers, what's the name for this? Producers have electric cars for ages, for decades. It's not new. We have electric cars, and some electric cars are better than Tesla and cheaper than Tesla. But why Tesla is still iconic? Do you understand? Do you know the answer? Because I have my own suggestion, but I'm not sure that I'm 100% correct. But my suggestion is it's slightly about brand, because it's not like just a BMW. It's from Elon Musk. It's 5 points more. Yeah,
it's an Apple product. It's got name recognition.
And it's an iconic thing, at least in California. If you have Tesla, you're not just like this third-class citizen. You someone. But another thing is service. Tesla provide a fantastic service. For instance, they have free repair. They have free service for your car, and also they provide you free electricity for your car. They have provided these stations where you can get electricity for free, and they provide network of the station. Whenever you go, in which direction, you just came to the station, get the electricity, and go. So it's not about car; it's infrastructural project.
And it's also environmentally friendly. Like other cars.
It's another thing. Let's keep it further.
And which way other electric cars are better? Because I know Tesla, for instance, is the faster car. It's very fast, even faster than a Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
Okay, I have an answer for that. Because not all the people, grade cars by speed. Many people like, comfort or something like this, wood salon or something like this. And for instance, BMW provide all that, but Tesla not. Tesla is a very simple car from interior point of view. So it just it has some, how to say, good functioning, but not luxury or something like this. Yeah, no bells and whistles. Teacher Lee helps me.
But I know the reason of that, I think. Because Elon Musk wanted to make the car light, because the batteries, there is a lot of weight due to the batteries. So he wanted to have a light car. If you put a lot of amenities inside the car is going to weigh a lot.
Yeah, but it's not ideal now. They're trying to solve, and for instance, Tesla is maybe a perfect car for California. You have this electricity station. You have a nice climate for that. But I know a few guys who bought Teslas there, in Ural Mountains, and it just bad solution, because it doesn't work when it's cold, and you don't have free electricity, and you don't have electricity station, and our conditions they're just bad to use this car, because if you have some snow or something like this, and you easily can refill your petrol, if you are in forest. But what you will do with electricity, where you get it? So you have to go to the town for the tractor and get it back. That's all. So when we're speaking about Tesla, my point of view, we're speaking about infrastructural project, not about car itself. So it's like a full circle of service stations, roads, all these things. And they mentioned in the talk, right, teacher Lee, they said that every 100 and something else kilometers you have this station, and it's good for you. You can go out, you can walk a little bit and spend 30 minutes, half an hour to refill your car, something like this.
Yeah, he said the cadence of a trip is usually you drive about 2.5 hours and you stop for 20 minutes, and you drive for 2.5 hours and you stop for 20 minutes. So they're shooting for a 20-minute charge time.
Yeah. Speaking about environmental issues and so on, it's not really clear. Is it better or worse? There are different point of views, but I like it how His Majesty delivered this point in this interview. He said, anyway, we need electricity for other goals, right? So we will have these power stations anyway. So why we should have both cars and power stations? I like this point. I never thought about this way. So like this. So we just have electricity produced by power plant, and we don't produce energy in the car. We just accumulate it. Gerard, please.
He said that even the electricity is provided by thermic, fuel power plant, the efficiency is twice. So even in this case, it's better. Besides, not all electricity is produced by fuel. Also, there are nuclear power plants and hydroelectric.
Yes, it sounds good. It sounds good, but I think it's very tricky, saying, because yes, it's twice cheaper, but electricians know that it's very energy-consuming process to deliver energy to you. So it's cheap on power station, but when it comes to your car, it will lose this profit, because you don't go to the power station to get this electricity. You get that in different place, and to transfer it, it's and then charge your battery. You lose energy on every step. So I'm not sure that it will.
And what about cities? Cities, the main reason of pollution are the smoke of cars, the fumes of cars. So I think that could be a big improvement, not having fumes for ourselves.
Right. So we have one power station, right? Usually, can I say power station? It's correct for making electricity, yes? So we have one power station outside the town, and our town is more environmentally safe, right? Something like this, more green. I like this point. Yes, I like this point. And I like another point of him. He said that just imagine that we invented, a new way to make electricity. We don't need to rebuild every car. We just rebuild one power station. Sounds good. Yes. So he noticed it like we will use another fuel or something like this, but I like it. So what else about Tesla? So sounds good, right? So we can see some envision point in that, like not thinking about only selling the new Nissan, but something about humankind in general, right? How makes the world better. And I had another point about Tesla. He said, just because the electric engine has different characteristics than petrol engines, you can you can use it in different way. You just have more responsive. You just have better experience with driving. It's a new point for me. Yeah, I never thought about that, but I remember now that in my town we have trolleybuses, right? What was it?
Yeah. Trolleys, yeah.
Trolleys, and they really move in a different dynamic. They use electric engines, and they different physics, right? It's different dynamics than usual buses. Yes. So I'd like to rent some electric car just to feel that. Tishley, your car is electric or not?
I've got Prius, which is gas electric.
Can you feel that it's a different dynamic from petrol?
A little bit, yeah. One thing that with an electric car, you can't rev the engine. With a gas car, you can go. With a gas car, you step on the gas, nothing happens. It just goes faster. You can't show off in an electric car.
Yeah, exactly.
I read somewhere, I forgot where, about Japanese cars. When they started to modify the engines became more silent, less noise, and
Silent.
silent, and people don't like that. Did not like it that. So so Japanese engineers made sound from your, what's the word for the headsets? What's the word for the musical system?
Not the speakers.
Speakers, yes. So you press the gas, and your speakers produce this. Wow.
Just to make you feel better, right?
Yeah, you feel like you are.
Psychological effect.
Like you
Only
are
in Japan.
Well, I
Japanese macho, just coming out. Yeah.
But you cannot hear it outside the car. It's only
Cool.
only for you.
Wow.
It's cool solution. It's for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tesla.
Nice.
Yes, PayPal. But speaking about money, Tesla project is in very bad position. So Tesla losing money every year, and every year more and more money. So it's not at the point when it's profitable. It happens, but as Teacher Lee mentioned, they talked about that in TED interview, and probably it will be solved in the future. Just not now. Technology not ready to be profitable enough. So yes, but it's drain his finances, and maybe because of that he need to start another project. Another project, Solar City or Power City, or how it's named. Do you know about it?
Well, this is one thing that I'm really excited about. Is my whole life I've paid electric bills, high electric bills, and I have no choice. So you don't pay your electric bill, boom, you have no electricity. So his goal is to put solar power panels on every roof where you make your own power, and then you don't need the electric company anymore. Now that's where I want to be.
Well, but solar panels are rather expensive.
Yeah, we're not there yet. The technology hasn't caught up.
Yeah.
Well, the project is quite complicated as always, but it's about solar batteries. It's about special batteries that you put, because what is the problem with solar batteries? They work at the day and don't work at the night, right? And so you need some batteries to accumulate this, and it's a very complicated way how they provide this service. It's not only battery, it's again service, it's infrastructure. They provide they have a contract with you, so you use your energy from your roof, but if you have excesses of this energy, it belongs to Musk. He uses this energy for other houses, or for own company, or for something else. So it's and they, I'm not sure, but I read on some article in the internet. So their expectation as a solar city was that many people will do that, and they will have enough this excessive energy for their own needs. But as I got it didn't happen for some reason. But they provide these solar generators for free, for lease or something like this.
Lease, yeah. No down payment, no cash down. Install it, you just start using it. Your electric bill goes down. You pay for 20 years, and you own it. Yeah, so.
Yeah,
you still pay something, right? It cannot be free, right? You still pay your bill. But it is not as high as your electricity bill, as far as I understand, yeah, right?
Well, it makes your own electricity. So what happens is, instead of paying the electric company, you pay the lease for your solar power, which is lower than your electric bill would be.
And actually, the excesses go to Musk, right? So the power, the excesses of the power, you are not selling, because I know that in some European countries they do have this system. They have they buy their solar panels.
In Germany, yes.
Not only in Germany,
talk
in
about
Netherlands,
that.
I I know that my friends in Netherlands, they told me that they bought the panels, the solar panels, and but they sell the excess of this power, but they sell it to the government.
Right.
So they have like the low bills, and they said that it will be here. She told me, you know, my friend, she told me it will be in Ukraine in couple of years. I said, oh my goodness, I doubt that. I really doubt that. But she's so optimistic. She said, you know, she comes here from like every year, and she says, I see the difference. I can, you know, I can tell you, and I hope.
But you know,
it's still impossible to buy. It's very expensive for me to buy solar panels right now. You know.
But let me tell you, I didn't hear Musk say that the excess electricity would go to him, although that might happen. But normally we have this in America right now. We have some people have solar power. They make an excess. Some states have a law that the utility, the electric company, has to buy your excess. So you actually get money back from your excess. But America is greedy, okay? What they're doing is they're passing laws now that don't let you sell your electric. They charge you more money for having solar power to compensate them for what they lose in selling you power. So the electric companies are trying to negate your advantage. So they're taking away our motivation to go solar because they're charging us more money for it rather than letting us save money. And to me, that's just totally stupid. But that's America.
Well, I googled it very fast, and I could not find the exact wording that what happened with expensive energy. It was my impression. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was my impression. Your solar battery they installed. It's not a single device. No, it's connected to the network or different. That's why they call it solar town or something like this. So it's a system. It's a system that decide who has a better opportunity to provide electricity. So it's like a managed system. You just put it on your house, but you don't manage it by yourself. It's belong to another system. Something like this.
It's basically an independent electrical grid. From the utilities, which are a monopoly.
And you don't have to cut off your normal, electricity wires or something like this. It's just in addition. So you if something bad happens with your battery, you just paying, you just return it back to the previous point. So you pay the same. So from my point of view, from what I read about this technology, I cannot find any disadvantages. So maybe there are some, but I cannot understand them now. No, for instance, I know why it doesn't work in my place. In my place, we don't have enough sun. That's all. So solar batteries, but in some places in America, it should work. But we know, in Spain, it should work. And
in Florida.
why American houses don't have it on every roof? I don't understand it. But I read that this project was not very successful, and Elon Musk is trying to sell this project. That's what I read.
It's just expensive right now. You won't save enough money in your whole lifetime to pay back the cost of the solar power. It's just not cheap enough yet.
Okay, let's see. Maybe at some point. Okay, what else? So solar power.
The rocket.
Finally. SpaceX. Yeah. Diana, do you know about SpaceX? You should.
No, I don't know anything about SpaceX. I heard a lot about it, but I did not research the topic. I just saw in the news what happened, and
have you seen those videos, of synchronous landing of these rockets? and other, show. This guy, we did not mention that well, but this guy, it's a master of presentation. It's a master of show. Whatever he do, it's it's like a movie. You can watch it for ages. What happened, how its rockets start, how it's
that's very wise of him, because usually all those scientists, they lack this skill, to present their work properly, and that's the very good thing, I think.
Yeah, but it's the reason why other scientists, as they call real scientists, don't like that.
Sure.
Because they said it's just, whom you believe.
Show off. Yes,
yeah, it's just
show off.
He doing it just to to sell his options on stock market. Am I correct? It's options or not? So.
Stock shares.
Stock shares. Okay, stock shares. So because they did it, actually, they did it many times with Tesla, with PayPal, and with so on. So he provides some service, then he provides, show, beautiful one. People start to think that it's a future of humankind for the whole planet, and then he sells it, take money, and go to another project. So it did happen with PayPal. It did happen with Solar City, or how it's called. So that's why there is not only fans of him, but some people who doubt about that it's real technology or something. For instance, current SpaceX technologies, he did not invent that. He took it from NASA. It's well documented. So NASA just provided him all this, rockets, technology, but he take risk. He took risk to make all this launches because it's somehow complicated for NASA. I don't know all the details, but somehow NASA cannot do that. But he took the risk. He pays this money and started it. So it's a great show as always, and they pulled Tesla car somewhere to the Mars. Not really successful, but anyway, it's a good show. So now we have in space, in outer space, we have a Tesla car with a mannequin, and it's going somewhere towards Mars in that direction. So maybe aliens will think about us because
we'll enjoy the view.
The Martian will have a Tesla car.
Yeah, free of charge.
Yeah. And the main point of Musk now, he is starting to make what's the word? How to deliver that? He is trying to make this launches of rocket reusable and cheap. So, and it will open us. For instance, one of his projects, it's not related to outer space, but he said, if you go by airplane from US to Australia, it takes a lot of time. Do this with rocket, it will be it will be faster. So he's trying to make rockets as normal as we have ships or planes now. So that's the goal. It's the first one, and another goal it's to make flies to Mars just mundane things, just ordinary things. I don't know can he reach this point or not, but actually I read a big article written by Roscosmos, his skeptic friends, right, who usually don't write about him too good, right, too favorably, yes, but even they started to write that he's a good guy for industry. Maybe his project is a waste of money, probably, but he got a lot of interest to this industry again, and people start to think, and engineers start to work on that. So it's new interest, new ideas, and they, I mean Roscosmos, I mean our agency Roscosmos, they criticize his technologies a lot. They said everything what he had now we had like 30 years ago. But we don't have this ideas. We don't have these ideas like, like pull Tesla cars or make show about that and so on. So we just sit in our room with this technology, but he's showing off, and it's good for industries, I said. Gerard?
It's curious that in 1969 we are men a step on the moon, and everybody thought that around 2000 we would be traveling in our solar system, and we thought that was likable. And now, without that, in 2030 we will put our foot in Mars.
Yeah.
Too optimistic? Yeah. Now what? Too pessimist? Now maybe.
I don't know how to call it, but I read an article that problem with outer space that we don't need it too much. Actually, we need some some guys who like Elon Musk to make a show about that. If you have this show, we start to make our solutions about Mars and so on. But in now our normal life, we have already everything what we want from this rockets. So we just don't have a motivation, don't have a stimul, right? Is it word? Stimul for
stimulus,
yeah, for improving our technology. So it's what expert says. What the expert says that nothing new, but great show. Great show, and it will be better and better.
Well, what Musk is doing for us, he's, as you said, he's inspiring people, he's generating interest, he's leading the way. Once other people start following, he doesn't have to work so hard because now there's other companies working on that too. So he's kind of trying to generate competition, really, and then he can move on to something else. He's trying to, it seems like he really is trying to help mankind on a race, a global scale, a species-wide scale. Now, Mars, yeah, the only reason to be on Mars is if the Earth is destroyed and we're not on Mars, we're gone. And some famous people like Stephen Hawking are saying in 100 years, the Earth is likely to be destroyed by virus, by nuclear war, by something else, asteroid hitting the planet. So he thinks it's kind of urgent for us to move to another planet just in case as insurance. So that's the only motivation right now for going to Mars, is to have another place to survive.
But actually that it's nonsensical, because it's much cheaper trying to protect our Earth rather than traveling to Mars.
Yes, but how you will make a show from protecting the Earth, No ways.
Imagine some scientists talk about terraforming Mars. Well, that's very complicated. It's even better to fix the Earth, our pollution problems and everything. That's much easier. That's easier.
It's easier, but I can understand. I can understand why Musk speaking about Mars. You just can compare two things. One thing, don't litter, anymore on the Earth, and another thing, let's go to the Mars. What do you choose?
Yeah, let's go to litter to the Mars. Yes, to Mars.
Yeah. And provide this. Teacher Lee, you are muted, please. I see that you were speaking, but you was muted.
No, I wasn't speaking, but
yeah.
Gerard said protect the Earth. Well, the problem is you can't. You can't protect us from a nuclear war. You can't protect us from another AIDS virus that's fatal and kills everybody on the Earth. You can't really protect us from massive earthquakes or the loss of the ocean, no fish. So you have to be somewhere else, because we can't protect the Earth against unforeseen or global disasters. It's not like small rocks are coming through space and we can shoot them, There's other kinds of extinction level events that if we can't stop them or prevent them, we need to have at least a colony somewhere else so we can, the species can survive. It won't be much consolation to us. We'll be dead, but
yeah.
Right?
Actually, mankind is the greatest disaster for Earth. I just finished the book *Sapiens*. Do you know this guy? This conference, *Sapiens*, the guy from Israel. Yeah. So I think mankind is responsible of most of the disasters in our planet, the most important ones at least.
Yes.
What do you suggest?
why it's bad? Yes, why it's bad? So, so we will be the huge disaster for the Mars and then for Venera or something else. But who cares, But and I have to admit with teacher Lee that having backup plan, it's a very good thing. We have backup plans for many things, but not for yours.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to be careful and think about all these boring environmental issues and so on. So it's not pleasant thing. Let's just colonize Mars and then we can play seriously on yours, right? Without any restrictions.
Then the Earth becomes more expendable.
Why we restrict from this nuclear war for so long, right? Just because we don't have backup. But if we have, things is solved.
Could be, yeah. We'll blow up the Earth and we'll take over Mars.
Yeah, it's interesting. Probably, but we have the saying, that it's easier to make a better place from scratch than trying to fix the previous one. And what we have on the yours now, many local governments and all these things and these tensions and history and complicated issues. Let's start from the scratch, from Mars, one government, one history, no, complicated issues and so on. Sounds good. Okay, what else? What else about Musk? So that's all for now, right? We don't have another projects. SpaceX is the last one, the most hyped one. I don't know. Everyone speak about this just now.
The question, one of my questions, I think smartphones was the last breakthrough invention of the last decade. Smartphones, and now what will be the next breakthrough invention of the next 10 days, 10 years?
10 years.
Can you foresee something, Ivan?
Actually, I don't think that it will be about outer space. I'm not from this church. No. Yes, I don't believe that. Sorry. I think, from my opinion, call me pessimistic or something like this. I think that Musk will sell, this SpaceX company on a very high point, and will switch to another, show, to saving whales or something like this. But we will never reach Mars, from my point of view. Sorry.
Maybe some wealthy Russian guy.
I'm not sure, but who knows? Yes, but some people believe in that. So, speaking about next breakthrough invention, I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I think it's the best part that we don't know what to expect. If we want something, special. For instance, robots. Teacher Liv wrote about robots. I hear about robots since I was a child. We always speak about robots. So if tomorrow, robots became true, it will be a good thing, but not, just new era, because we already ready for that. So to start new era, we need some inventions, from nowhere. My point of view, what we cannot predict just now.
How can is it possible to have something unexpected, completely unexpected? It cannot be, it should be founded on something, grounded on some previous, invention, something like that. It cannot be just like some absolutely new idea. How can it be?
But just now we have, smartphones that more powerful than, previous NASA computers.
Sure. Yes, I understand that. So, but you say that it is completely new idea. Is it possible? So, but actually, this AI thing, it's not there yet. Yeah, there are robots, but they are like still primitive, right? So we don't. But I watched like a thing. This is like the robot wife thing, which is popular in Asia. Yes, in Japan, I think very, very popular. So actually, cute ladies. I saw them. I saw the faces and I liked them. Probably this one will be, well, yeah, Stepford Wives. That's right. So the AI wives. It's a new thing.
AI.
It's what you are waiting for, right?
Well, I'm not waiting for anything, just I'm curious about that. I'm curious how, how many men will buy those wives. I want the statistics,
If they're affordable.
Oh, okay.
But think about this, like about vacuum cleaner. Why not? If it can make more time, for my wife to be free, why not? I will buy it.
Yeah. So why don't buy a vacuum? A new vacuum? Why don't you need a wife?
Yeah.
They need just adjust the name. That's all. Sorry, teacher.
Do you know? Have you heard of the GTOW?
No.
This is a new movement. I'd never heard of it before, and I saw it in a comment one time. There's actually a new movement called Men Going Their Own Way. Men are choosing not to have wives and girlfriends. They're choosing to just live by themselves, use their own money, do what they want, and to heck with the Me Too movement and all this crap, So if you had robot wives, that would be an ideal thing. Yeah, that would be an ideal thing for these guys. They got someone to cook, clean the house, take the dog for a walk, and iron the clothes, and they just do their own thing. And there's no nagging, there's no wife spending money, and no grocery store trips. Sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the next big thing, I'm afraid, is either going to be AI is going to take over the world, or we're going to start putting chips in our head so we can mentally communicate with the internet, and I can talk to Yvonne by thought. Hey, Yvonne, how you doing? Oh, okay. Not even using my mouth anymore because we both got chips in our head that can communicate our thoughts.
Yes. What is more sad that we will communicate without use our brain, anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But speaking seriously, I think that we have, as a humankind, we have massive progress in many fields. But I think that medicine is the one field which is pretty slow. So I expect, expect some development in this field, in medicine, to seriously prolong human life, or use something, as Gerard wrote, some chips for our minds or something like this. Because really, we don't know much about how our brain works still. So for so many ages, it's still a mystery. So I expect that if it happen, it will be, some massive improvements or disimprovements of our life.
Yeah, medical, you're true. If we could live forever or use 50% of our brain capacity, holy cow, what we could do, Yeah.
But speaking about these robot wives and all these things, I don't believe in that, because recently I read about some scandal or some event that people, one man got punished because he talked with his Alexa or some other in a way that humiliate woman, inside this Alexa. So it's and you speaking about robotic wives, forget it for long time.
Robots are suing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And the thing that I find, just politically incorrect, that they're talking about the robot wives, not about
Right.
robot husbands, right?
Right.
Just wives. Why wives? I would have
Well,
a robot husband. Why?
Women are
It would be
clearly happy with men, right?
Yeah. Especially now with all these laws.
Yeah.
But you know what? One thing that has happened in the world that's kind of silly, and it's actually generated some human outrage, is Saudi Arabia has granted citizenship to a robot
Oh my goodness.
named Sophia, and the robot has more rights than the women in the country.
No.
And the women in the country are pissed off why a robot can get citizenship and more privileges than they can as a human being.
That's ridiculous.
so-
really.
Yeah, it's scary. We're just not
Mhm.
we're not thinking. We're just stupid, you know.
Yeah.
I think that mankind likes to overcomplicate, all these questions. Look at all this, Facebook interfaces, for instance, or American things like feminism, modern feminism, and all this. So we have no chance. We need Mars, we need Elon Musk. Someone get me out of there, please.
No, it will not help, Ivan, because people, we are people who are getting there, and all of us have our backgrounds, and all of us have our prejudice, and all of us have something, and over there, that will be like the smaller version of the same bull crap, that we're having here. So it will not help, because human nature is human nature.
But Diana, I think I have an answer for that. I think that all this crap what we have now, it's because of our very easy life, because of our free time. So look at Americans.
Oh my goodness. What are you talking about? Free time.
Yes, you mean I don't have free time? I have to solve so many gender issues on Facebook, right?
Yes.
We need to keep
Have
people
so
busy
many
with
comments to
survival.
write. So many comments to write to my enemies, virtual enemies.
You can go on Facebook, you can go out and get something to eat or starve to death. I think I'll go out and eat and starve than to avoid Facebook,
So from my point of view, if you go to Mars and, start from the scratch, like, all this humankind before, like you get this shovel and you need to make this, pit. And if you don't do this, we all dead. It will,
Nobody will go there. There will be no volunteer.
I will go there because
you will be alone there
that place.
with your shovel.
I can work with my shovel and don't go to IT conference speaking about gender problems. I will go definitely.
And I figure every 200 years you'll get back up to this point, and you'll have to go to another planet to start over.
Right.
So you can keep ahead of the horrible human things by leaving every couple hundred years.
Yes, and I think we need to develop, a clear criteria for that. I think when we start to speak about gender problems on IT conference, it's a time. We need another
time
planet.
to leave. Yes.
Good point.
Okay. Any last comment, questions?
Interesting discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Like all good times. Next week we will have a movie class about Thelma and Louisa, speaking about,
Oh, Thelma and Louisa. Oh my goodness. Nice one. Yes.
I chose this movie, Diana.
You did. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Be ready.
Nice ending. Just a comedy. Yes, I know. I love this
Brad
comedy.
Pitt.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you again. Bye. See you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.